Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Resident Evil 6. I know, a little confusing after I left off on the ending of the Ada Wong campaign, but I did promise that I would read all the Codex, and I really want to as well, but I decided I wanted to do a separate video for it all, since I realized there's like 20 Codex for each campaign, so that's like, what, 80? 80 Codex, 80 emblems. I'm just gonna have, this on the screen, I suppose. I'm not really sure if I should be recording, the text that I'm going through. I'm just on the residentevil.fandom.com wiki for Resident Evil 6. So I don't really see the point of showing that. So we'll just have this on the screen probably. And yeah, I'm just gonna read through them all. I'm just gonna read through them all. You guys, if you're interested in this is the video for you. Just full Codex. I'm really disappointed that we couldn't find them at all throughout when we were playing, because I do very much like to be playing and then pick up a Codex if I find it and be able to read it in that moment. But this game really just said, no, you have to find these emblems to unlock the Codex that you can read in our records. So, with that, we'll be starting with Leon's campaign, and then we'll just go through each one, like Chris, Jake, and then Ada, to read all the Codex. Hopefully I don't mess my voice up doing this. Alright. Emblem 1, the Leon S. Kennedy, Codex. And honestly, some of these look very long. I kind of looked at them, just briefly glanced at them to see how long they were, and some of these are pretty long. So bear with me. I don't know how long this video will be, but we'll try to make it as short, but I also still want to keep like my thoughts together on it. So let's get started. At 36 of age, Leon S. Kennedy is the most respected agent working for the United States government, reporting directly to the president himself. The horrors he witnessed as a result of a biohazard outbreak known as the Raccoon City Incident left him with a deep-rooted hatred of bioterrorism and those who would use it. While his demeanor is calm and rational, it would not be mistaken for apathy. He will take the initiative on any mission he's been assigned, often putting himself in danger in order to save the innocent. He takes his missions seriously, making decisions cautiously and logically. From time to time, however, his sardonic wit will surface, recalling his time as a good-natured rookie cop with a sense of duty who was able to maintain his sense of humor even in tough times. Leon has also played a large part in the founding of the Division of Security Operations, DSO. Below's report sent to Leon from the President. Leon, I am writing to report that the creation of the new organization we discussed, the Division of Security Operations, is officially underway. The bioterrorism we have seen in recent years has suppressed the level of organizations currently in operation can cope with. Your advice was invaluable in establishing the DSO. Agents will be under my direct authority, and support will be provided by the FOS. You will be the first founding member. I am sure you will make our nation proud and do all that you can to protect its people. Together we can rid the world of these terrorists, along with the disgusting bows they created. Adam Binford, President of the United States. February 2nd, 2011. Alright, so that's just a little info on Leon. Our next one in the first chapter is the Leon and Adam file, which is the president that died. Context, I guess, on it. Let's see. Oh god, this one's also long. Leon Kennedy and U.S. President Adam Binford are not only close friends, but champions of similar causes. When President Binford was a high-ranking government official, he handpicked Leon, elevated him to his high-ranking status. The two men were both motivated by a righteous desire to root out bioterrorism following the events that transpired in Raccoon City in 1998. Adam had a reputation for being one of the few politicians with integrity, a man of his word, and Agent Kennedy found himself able to trust a man who had never directly faced the evils of bioterrorism. With mutual goals and mutual respect, they grew close during their 10 years of fighting bioterrorism together. Unfortunately, their friendship is abruptly ended during a biohazard outbreak one with eerie echoes that mirror the tragedy of Raccoon City. When Agent Kennedy is forced to shoot and kill President Benford, the focus of the biological attack was sent on Ivy University, where the president had been visiting to give a talk, leading most to believe this was an assassination attempt. Not only did it succeed, but it also cost the lives of nearly all those residing in the Tall Oaks area. Just after word of the president's death was made official by the FOS, U.S. Special Forces were brought in and orders to obtain the president's body and assess the situation, along with other orders that still remain confidential. Below is a partial transcript of a radio transmission between those special forces and their headquarters. Let's see. HQ, base to command, what's the sit rep? Edgar, we're inside the college, no sign of any survivors. HQ, what about POTUS? Still looking for him. I think, wait, someone's here. Can't tell who or what it is, but it's armed. Put down your weapons and don't move. I said don't move. The sound of gunfire is heard and then the transmission ends. Wow, okay. So, Adam was also very righteous, but he died for it because he was in a position of power. Actually, I think I might switch to the text. Hold on. I might show me scrolling through the text to help you guys read along. Sorry I didn't do that before. Give me 1 second. Alright, I think I have it to where you guys can see we're on the next, what's it called? The next, Codex in Leon's campaign for Chapter 1. Of course, it's another long one. Field Operations Support, FOS, is an organization operating at the highest level of the U.S. government. Its original message was to provide support for agents from multiple U.S. intelligence agencies discharging their duties around the world. As the dangers posed by the bioterrorism came to take priority for U.S. security, the FOS was evolved to oversee all operations that deal with response to and prevention of bioterrorism. The FOS was originally formed in 2011 by Adam Benford, with Ingrid Hannigan installed as operations coordinator and Leon Kennedy as its chief field agent. The FOS currently focuses on supporting the Division of Security Operations and their missions. After receiving word on the large-scale biological attack on Tall Oaks and the president's assassination, presidential aid by Derek C. Simmons mobilized agents in order to assess the situation. Below is an urgent message sent from Hunnigan to her superior shortly after the attack on Tall Oaks. This is Ingrid Hunnigan. I have made contact with Helene Harper of the USSS. She and Leon Kennedy of the DSO have confirmed that the president has died from infection. They are now moving out to pursue who they believe to be behind the incident. I repeat, the president has been confirmed dead and 2 agents are now in pursuit of the suspect. So, get some more information on the field thing. We're gonna do zombie file next. Sorry, let me make sure. Scroll down. Oh my god, that's a big one. In 1998, a biohazard incident involving the T virus contaminated the entirety of Raccoon City. Inhabitants infected by the virus succumbed to the infection, but their corpses were reanimated by the same virus into shambling, flesh-eating creatures. Reports from the incident indicated that many of the revenants' eyes were glazed over and their skin had either decayed or been flayed. As these revenants resembled the Walking Dead of horror fiction, they were given the decidedly unscientific name of zombies. The source of the current biohazard event in Tall Oaks remains unknown, but the stages of infection of the victims bear a striking resemblance to those of Raccoon City. For better or for worse, the appellation of zombie have been applied to these victims as well. The zombies of Tall Oaks, however, have different characteristics than those infected by the T virus. This is confirmed in a report sent by Leon to the FOS during his involvement on the scene. Here's my report on the affected victims. Most are strong and agile, and they can run and jump. They even make use of nearby objects as weapons and are able to avoid obstacles in their way. Only a very small handful of T-virus and G-virus victims showed these kinds of abilities, but these cases were so few that they were never made public. That they were never made public, and no answer as to why they were different was found. Records of them only exist with the BSAA and U.S. investigators. These are no longer slow, stupid animals that just want to feed. They are strong and fierce, so extra precautions must be taken in dealing with them. They're more advanced. We know for a fact that, Oh, I skipped one, did I? No. It's 4 each. 4 for each chapter, but there's 5 chapters, so 20. We know for a fact that they have been compiling the viruses into one super virus ever since. So it's kind of cool to see the how they have evolved from that. Alright, chapter 2, we get to learn more about Hunnigan. Honey! Ooh. Alright, Ingrid Hunnigan is a 33-year-old mission coordinator for the U.S. Department of Defense Field Operations Support. In 2004, she was instrumental in helping Agent Kennedy recover the then president's daughter from a terrorist group. Level-headed and intelligent, she is competent at hacking into most security systems, as well as handling the relevant mission intelligence. She is the guiding voice that successfully delivered Agent Kennedy from many a perilous predicament. Leona, as well as the other agents and her superiors, trust her greatly, so much so that is often tolerated when she makes decisions that overstep her authority. She is an indispensable member of the FOS. Although trusted by many, nothing is known about her private life, which leaves her coworkers only to speculate. But only about 2 years ago, a member of the FOS said that he overheard a phone conversation between Hunnigan and a member of her family. She seemed very annoyed. Stop calling me at work about this, Mom. I know, but I want to focus on making work my #1 priority right now. I don't need help finding someone. I can do that on my own. Make sure to tell Dad that I said what I said too. Wow, the classic, when are you getting married and having grandchildren case? Oh, Leon and the Raccoon City incident. Oh my god. Okay. Like I said, I knew these were going to be pretty long, so it's just like, alright. In 1998, a biohazard incident involving a man-made virus contaminated the entire town of Raccoon City. The town of 100,000 became ground zero for the world's single worst biohazard outbreak in the 20th century. The clinical naming of the event as the Raccoon City incident does nothing to express the tragedy and the horror that occurred in that idyllic American town. During the incident, a rookie police officer named Leon Kennedy was caught up in the nightmare. He was attacked by human-infected, aka zombies, and umbrella-engineered bioorganic weapons. Against all odds, he and a few other survivors were able to escape from the city. He regretted that he was only able to save so few people that day, and the events that transpired in Raccoon City etched themselves indelibly? I don't know how to say that word, on his mind. From that point out, he vowed that he would do all he could to ensure the world would never see a tragedy like Raccoon City repeated. Leon spoke very little of the incident afterwards. Government officials who heard of his survival tried to ask him about what happened out of curiosity, but he always avoided them. However, there was one high-ranking official that he did not avoid. Below are Leon's words as spoken to Adam Binford during a conversation they had years ago before Binford became president. I was just glad to have gotten out of there alive. It was all I could think about. Sure, my anger towards Umbrella helped me get through it, but it was only after I got out that I really started thinking about what I could do. It was hard for Claire and I to hold on to any kind of hope in a situation like that. I mean, come on, I was just a rookie cop and she was a 19-year-old college student. To tell you the truth, I even thought about ending it several times, actually, which is a quick bullet to the head, but I didn't give up. Sherry needed me. She was a 10-year-old girl thrown into a hellish environment with monsters after her, so I had to pull myself together for her sake. She was our reason for not giving up, especially for Claire. Damn, Leon, he just was wanting to end it. That's really dark. That's really dark to have, but, like, what can you do in a situation like that? Oh, this is a small one, thank you. What is this one called? Tall Oaks Cathedral and the Underground Lab. Standing out in the skyline of Tall Oaks is a cathedral that marks a plot of land that has been in the Simmons family for generations. This land primarily serves as a meeting ground for the family's secretive dealings, and there are many hidden passageways and booby traps to obstruct any potential interlopers. The current head of the family, Derek C. Simmons, recently had a portion of the underground chamber refurbished into a modern research laboratory so he could have scientists conduct research on the C virus. Really? Modern? That place was so crusty. I don't think it was modern. In the midst of the Tall Oaks biological attack, the laboratory was destroyed. During investigation of the remains, a scribbled memo was found. After 10 years and 12,235 experiments, it's finally complete. Thank you, Mr. Radamus? I owe it all to you. Ooh, who's that? I don't recognize that name. Lepotitsa? Lepotitsa? Oops, opened a new hole. How do you say that? Lepotitsa is a victim of the C virus, although one that is extremely mutated. The word Lepotitsa, ironically, is derived from the Serbian word for women of beauty. The creature's body is covered in large pores that secrete a deadly gas. Anyone who inhales its fumes will die and be reanimated as a zombie. One creature has the potential to affect an area within a 3-mile radius. Unlike a traditional zombie infection, which is spread by a zombie's bite or contact through contaminated blood, this creature turns the virus into an airborne agent, thus creating a contaminant that is hard to avoid. The bioterror attack that Agent Kennedy encountered in Tall Oaks was triggered by this creature. Lepotitsa is thought to be the first C virus mutation discovered by Neo Umbrella. Evidence of this was found in a note amongst the remains of the laboratory underneath the Tall Oaks Cathedral. Below is what was written on that note. We were able to create Lepotitsa through continuous experimentation on the sample taken 1 year ago from subject C16. Nanan. Yoshihara. Or Mahara School! Wait, I said that Pierce was in a manga, I think, for this incident. Oh. The work paid off because it is no doubt a very effective weapon. Letting a few things go on a gassing spree in Tall Oaks should infect everyone. All chrysalids determined to mutate into a Lepotitsa has been placed strategically around the Tall Oaks area. So now all we do is wait for hell to break loose. As a precaution, all specimens have been made to self-destruct after they have completed their objectives. In addition, one will be kept here in the laboratory in case we are tracked down. I can't wait until everyone sees what we put in their backyards. Wow. Okay. So that's all of Chapter 2, Leon. Helena File 1. This is a lot of reading. Okay. Helena Harper is a 24-year-old U.S. government agent. Her sister Deborah is her only known living relative. During the Tall Oaks terrorist attack, she is dispatched by the U.S. Secret Service to protect President Benford. She is a woman of strong moral convictions and is very sympathetic to the plight of others, although she does not let her emotions get the better of her from time to time. Does let her emotions. She was the ideal agent if you look past her rash behavior, but Hunnigan saw Helena's strong will as a positive and recommended her as a candidate for the DSO. By the President's order, I am currently in the process of evaluating members from other organizations for DSO recruitment candidacy. Those who are selected will go through a year-long aptitude evaluation. If they pass, they will receive 1 to 3 years of training, then a final evaluation once training is complete. Currently, 5 out of 7 candidates have not met DSO standards. Therefore, I would like to recommend Helena Harper of the CIA as a new eligible candidate. She's part of the CIA, okay. I understand that she has a reputation for letting her emotions cloud her judgment, but her abilities and conviction are enough to overshadow her faults and make her a prime candidate for DSO. Yeah, we saw what happened there, though. And then Helena Harper, File 2. A little longer. Helena Harper doesn't compromise her beliefs and is not one to step aside and let others take charge. She does, however, have a tendency to let her emotions get the best of her. She was in the top of the class and the agency's first choice of the job, but officials are concerned that she would let her morals get in the way of her work. They were right. While investigating a series of murders, Helena successfully found and apprehended the killer. In the process, she would use excessive force on the subject and was suspended from the agency. Oh. She claimed she had to shut the killer up because he was making threats in front of the victim's family. After her suspension period was over, she found herself in situations where she couldn't maintain her self-control. When Deborah's boyfriend became abusive and enraged, Helena shot and injured him. Her superiors were unwilling to overlook her gross misconduct, but they didn't want to fire her, so they transferred her to the Secret Service. What the hell? Not saying he didn't deserve that, but hello? During the attack on Tall Oaks, Helena was manipulated by Derek Simmons in his plan to assassinate President Adam Benford. Because of the incident with her sister's abusive boyfriend, Helena's chance to join the DSO were ruined. Below's report sent for one of Helena's superiors to Hunnigan, who had supported the idea of Helena joining the DSO on account of her strong will. As from today, Helena Harper is to report for duty and serve under the USSS. We will watch and see how she handles her new position, but as far as I can tell, I don't see her lasting for much longer in this line of work. I understand the anger she must have felt when her sister Deborah was put in the hospital by an abusive boyfriend. Okay, they didn't mention that. But no matter what the circumstance, firing on an unarmed civilian is unacceptable conduct for a government agent. Not only that, but she could also put those around her in danger. I am aware of her abilities and I know that you think well of her, but this is my decision. At least just beat him up. Don't shoot the dude. The catacombs. Okay. Catacombs. Catacombs that maze their way under tall oaks goes back almost 400 years. They are the final resting place of not only members of the Simmons family, but those who have served the mysterious organization known as the Family. These underground burial chambers are not known to the public, but the catacombs themselves are still protected by many elaborate contraptions to keep outsiders from digging too deeply into the family's secret affairs. Although the catacombs are primarily used by the Simmons family, the primitively constructed caves and altars hint at the existence of inhabitants prior to them. A memo written by Simmons to his subordinates just before the incident at Tall Oaks was found deep inside the catacombs. Set all traps before proceeding with the plan. Also release the Brazak in the aquarium just in case. Anyone finds a way down here during the commotion must be dealt with. Brazak in the aquarium. All people in Tall Oaks, including the president, are to be exterminated. They will all be a necessary sacrifice in order to keep our country safe. Wow, what a dick. What a dick. We get another... Oh, Deborah Harper. We get the Deborah Harper file. This is a short one. Deborah Harper is a 20-year-old college student and Helena's sister. Unlike her sister, Deborah is a carefree party girl. Their different approaches to life are a cause of friction between them, but those issues aside, they two are actually very close. The two sisters' lives are thrown into chaos when Derek Simmons kidnaps Deborah and uses her for the family C-virus experiments. When Helena is reunited with her sister, it's not the happy reunion she had hoped for. Deborah had been turned into a hideous creature with no semblance of humanity she once had, other than the gentle facial features that hint at her former beauty. Okay. Below is a memo written by a member of the family detailing her actions after taking Deborah hostage. We've been ordered to kill Deborah as soon as Helena arrives. They'll both be dead eventually anyway, so doing so would speed up the process. But it would be such a waste to kill her. I can't help but think about her soft skin and shapely body. She's just my type. Disgusting. Disgusting. She's a little beaten up, but she's made a wonderful subject for our experiments. I think I'll keep her around to show her how she takes to the C-virus. So disgusting, first of all. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people? That's really nasty. And also, I didn't mention this before, but I really dislike the fact that she was just naked, Deborah, when she turned. And she had, like, I get why they're naked, they come out like a cocoon. But she was also, like, doing, like, sexy poses and stuff. Like, why? Like, why? If you're gonna make her a monster, make her a monster. You know what I mean? Okay, that's all this for this chapter. Let's move on. Oh, we get some Leon and Ada context. Ada Wong is a spy whose major activities occur off the grid. Not much is known about her, not even if Ada Wong is an alias or her real name. Ada's first encountered Leon Kennedy during the Raccoon City incident in 1998 when Leon was a callow rookie, a police officer trying desperately to escape the nightmare that had enveloped Raccoon City. Ada was in the city carrying out a mission for a rival company to the Umbrella Corporation. When circumstances threw the two together, Ada hid the nature of her activities while using Leon to help her carry them out. The life and death struggle that they endured brought them closer together, and Ada ended up saving Leon's life. Unfortunately, they had to make their way out of the city separately, but they could not forget what they felt for each other. Following their escape, their paths would cross from time to time, Leon as a U.S. government operative and Ada as a spy. Ada makes no qualms about using Leon when it suits her needs, but Leon is loath to bring himself to be done with her. Such a toxic relationship. They don't consider each other enemies, but it's hard to tell how they feel for each other. Complicated is the word that aptly summarizes their relationship. Few records of Ada Wong exist, including the report written by a CIA agent who was present in the East Slavic Republic during its civil war. What? We have determined the identity of the BSAA observer who interceded on the Republic's government affairs as a woman who calls herself Ada Wong. The BSAA has denied her involvement and has already covered up any record of it. It looks like they were the only ones who know of these details. Ooh. Ada Wong. Helena's crime. Oh my Jesus. Okay. Derek Simmons coerced Helena Harper into helping him assassinate President Binford when he kidnapped her sister Deborah. Helena had no choice but to send out an alert over the Secret Service radio that a group had entered Ivy University with the intent to kill President Binford. The president was on the campus to deliver a speech, and the Secret Service made sure that the president was secure before his speech. A number of agents was dispatched to look for the suspect. This created the opening Derek needed. Helena loved her sister, but she couldn't let herself be a party to a terrorist attack. She rushed to the campus to entreat the agents to give up their wild goose chase and protect the president. Many of the agents were aware of her past infractions, so they were disinclined to believe her. Then the attacks came. Because half the agents were out looking for assassins, the service was slow in evacuating President Binford and was unable to save his life. Below is a memo left behind by a USSS agent before the incident. I think I add way too many S's or don't add enough S's every time. Oh no, what did I click? No, get me out. Sorry. Several of us have been ordered to search the college after receiving a report that the president may be in danger of assassination. I hope it's not just some kind of prank. I haven't seen anything suspicious so far, though, except for Harper going on and about how she thinks that Derek Simmons is the one trying to kill the president, and that we should get back to our post. What? Simmons is a friend of the president. She also said that she was forced to report false information after her sister was taken hostage. How can she expect us to believe her when everything she says is crazy? Why do we have to get to the CIA's problem child? Oh, the problem child. Wow. See, I wish we knew more about her backstory before being introduced to her, instead of finding it out through Codex. That we can't even find unless we find all the emblems. Thank God there's internet, right? I wouldn't be able to read all this if not. If we listen to her and it means we let a possible assassin go, the shit's gonna hit the fan. I think I'll give her some time off in a room somewhere to relax and get her head straight while we continue with the search. I wish this cough would let up. I must be catching something. Well, there you go. Okay, is this emblem about this thing? In the market... It doesn't tell me it gives me a file. Is it just this? Uh-oh. They didn't mark what file it gives me. Someone messed up on Leon. Uh-oh. Hold on, let me look it up real quick. Well, I don't know where it's at. I kind of tried to look it up, but we're not going to worry about it. We're going to keep reading on the Berserk. I mentioned this before. Berserk is the victim of the Z virus, although one that is extremely mutated. Berserk is derived from the Serbian word for rapids. Its oral and ocular faculties are practically non-existent, so it relies on kinetic sensations based on movement in the water to hunt its prey. Okay, it will indiscriminately attack all moving prey. Oh, is that the shark thing? Okay. I completely forgot about it. Be it human or zombie, cadavers that float in the water, however, do not interest it. Cadavers? Below is a memo written by the researcher for the family detailing the ferociousness of the Berserk. I keep saying it wrong. I'm sorry. This crazy shark-like monster will eat almost anything we drop in. Just the other day, we threw in a few old computers in, and instantly the thing just went at them like they were candy, attacked by the movement from them landing the water. But then it stopped once it realized they weren't moving, so we had to poke at the equipment with sticks to make it interested again. We need the data destroyed on those hard drives, so not only is this thing good at killing, but it's handy around the office too. Come to think of it, we've got lots of dead subjects from our experiments to get rid of today, so I think I'll just have them dropped into the tank as a snack for our little garbage disposal. So some information on the shark. No Codex for Emblem 15. For some reason they didn't mark it, unless it is that, but I'm not reading a whole wiki thing of that. Alright. We have 4 more to go. Derek C. Simmons. Derek C. Simmons, 46-year-old, is an aide to the President of the United States. He is a ruthless perfectionist, a personality well-disposed to rising to a high echelon of power and government. He is the current head of the family, a secret fraternity of powerful users and shakers that have manipulated the development of the Western world for centuries. This organization will do whatever it is necessary to ensure stability and world order. Figuring the ensuing chaos that would result from President Benford's plan to reveal the truth about the Raccoon City incident, Mr. Simmons orchestrates his own bioterror attack, where the president would be one of the many casualties. Below is a memo written by Simmons before the attack. I've warned Adam time and time again not to go public with the details on the Raccoon City incident, and even used the family to put more pressure on him, but he will still not listen. He doesn't realize just how big of a mistake he is making. His biggest mistake, though, was hiring me on as his right-hand man, not knowing that I was the head of the family. If only he knew how closely I've been watching his every move. Now he's made an enemy of the family, and there's no turning back. It's time I use my position to make sure balance is kept in this world. The family. I don't think we've ever been introduced to a family like that before Resident Evil 6. Unless there was secret Codex I didn't get before. Is this strange that this is the only game where I'm actively reading Codex outside of the game? But I am interested, and I did say I would do it. Alright, Derek's first transformation. Oh my god, he's going to talk about all of his transformations? This is the last Codex? After Derek Simmons injected with the enhanced C virus, he enters a stage 1 mutation. At this stage, his upper body maintains a humanoid appearance and his violent tendencies are amplified. He has yet to lose his sense of self. His legs, however, transform to something beast-like, and he's powerful enough to outrun a high-speed train. He can also use shards of his own bones as projectiles and can fire them off with deadly accuracy, and any bone matter lost in this manner is regrown thanks to the effects of the C virus. Disgusting. The family kept a close eye on Simmons after he was injected with the C virus. The FOS was able to intercept part of the message from one of the family members during this period. Derek is done for. The mutation is getting worse and worse. He looks uglier than any Javo I've ever seen. Since all he cares about now is going after some woman, we decided to relieve him of his position. We'll have to pick someone else to lead the family. So they said, fuck him. Which they did in the game. Okay, as the C virus infection begins to take root in Derek's body, he enters a stage 2 mutation. At this stage, Derek's body resembles a gigantic dinosaur. My worst nightmare came to life. And his musculature is quite dense. Unlike the stage 1 mutation, stage 2 Derek behaves instinctually instead of rationally. His driving force is to devour his enemies, and he even goes as far as to leap into the sky and attack a helicopter Ada is piloting. The family kept a close eye on Simmons after he was injected with the C virus. The FOS was able to intercept a part of a message. Derek has lost his mind to the mutation, so all that needs to happen now is for the government to kill him. What was he injected with? It seemed to be based off of the C virus, but I've never seen a mutation like that. It must have been something that Ada cooked up with the Neo umbrella. If we get a sample of it, we could do some research. I'll have to get some of our people on this. And then the last transformation, Derek's third transformation. Derek's body continues to mutate and he enters stage 3. Derek's humanity is completely gone at this point, but his survival instincts remains. He ingests multiple corpses in order to give his body the organic matter needed to assume his form. Oh, the fucking fly. This new, hideous form resembles an amalgamation of multiple insect species. When stage 3 Derek loses a limb or other body part, he can regenerate it by ingesting more corpses. He could, in theory, live forever as long as there are corpses for him to ingest. Disgusting. The family kept a close eye on Simmons, and this was intercepted. Derek Simmons' death has been confirmed. Neo Umbrella will also probably not be left standing for long. The new leader of the family has been chosen. We need to come together and persevere as we have in the past if we are to keep balance in this world. The new leader has been chosen of the family. I wonder if the family will be important in the next game. Alright, I'm going to take a small break from that. That was 35 minutes of reading. Good context. And then we'll start on Chris's campaign files. So, give me 1 second. Alright, I've taken a little break to help my throat, my voice. And I changed the music because I went to the collection screen in the actual game. So, I'll have some nice little tunes as we read the next part. We're going to start with the Chris Redfield Codex. I also realized that when I was looking through the one I'm looking through, I noticed in the Jake campaign, there's no links. And then chapter 2 doesn't show anything after that. And then Ada Wong doesn't have anything. So whoever has done this one hasn't completed it. Actually, before we even get to the Chris campaign, I did find a new it's the same website, but it's a different page, and I think it links to the actual codex. So the one that we missed, let me look. This one, I guess we didn't miss it. It was this. Ah, but here's the actual link to it. All right, let's read this. Let's go back. This is Leon campaign still. I don't know how to say this this name. Rask La Punje is a victim of the sea virus, although one of that is extremely mutated. It is derived from the Siberian word for demolition. The smooth white skin that envelops this creature is an exoskeleton designed to protect the slug-like part of its main body, located in the torso. Even if part of this creature's humanoid form is destroyed, it will not have any effect on the main body. These detached body parts can still search for prey independently and ensnare it. The flexible nature of its structure allows it to pass through narrow openings like ventilation ducts and other tight spaces. Its primary weakness is fire, and when it encounters intense heat, its main body will leap out of its humanoid exoskeleton to escape danger. Below is a memo written by Neo Umbrella researcher. We've had a very irregular mutation occur in some of our subjects. The resulting creature is able to separate parts of its body and send them after its victim. Its body part seems to have a mind of its own as they search and attack, but once they return to the main body, they all go back to working as one. We still have a lot to learn about this mutation, but it will most certainly be an effective weapon in the field. I think these are the things that, like, come apart and, like, chase you. So that's cool. Alright, starting with the Chris Redfield is a 39-year-old BSAA operative working for its North American branch. He was the leader of the Alpha team until he suffered post-traumatic amnesia and wound up belligerent, drunk, in the underbelly of Eastern Europe. Around this time, a biohazard outbreak in China shocks the world. Piers Nivens, his teammate on Alpha, finds Chris and convinces him to resume his leadership role in the BSAA. Despite his memory loss, Chris retains the fortitude and leadership skills that make him one of the BSAA's top agents. Below is a transcript of the communication sent from BSAA North America to Piers. This is the headquarters, Nivens. Are you listening? There's been a bioterrorist attack in America and China. We don't have a lot of intel on the situation yet, but the US government is denying our assistance on their front. So we need the Alpha team to take care of the situation in China. We've got reports of Javo, like bows, which your teammates have experienced with before. We also heard that you've run into Chris Redfield, so if you can, take him with you to Lanshiang. He could be a big help. Him having amnesia is very interesting take they wanted to do. Alright, the next one is the BSAA, which we've learned through the Revelation games. In the wake of the Umbrella Corporation's dissolution in 2003, many other pharmaceutical companies saw their bioorganic weapon research enter the black market. Whether in the hands of organized crime or terrorists, bioweapons were destroying lives around the world. In response to voices calling for action to be taken, the Global Pharmaceutical Consortium formed the anti-terrorist task force known as the Bioterrorism Security Assessment Alliance, the BSAA. Initially, the BSAA was just a civilian organization with only adversary? How do you say that? adversary status, but as the threat posed by bioterrorism spread, the United Nations decided to sponsor the group in order to have a quick response force that could deal with the threats around the world. With its new sponsorship in place, the BSAA gained the authority to carry out investigations in countries the world over, and to make arrests whenever it is dispatched. That's how we were able to go to Africa that one time in Resident Evil 5. However, the BSA is often asked not to intervene with incidents within the United States. The reasoning behind this can be seen in a note written by Chris in 2005. The U.S. government has finished cleaning up the outbreak at Havertville Airport. They didn't come up with much to help make sense of the incident other than the fact that the T-virus and G-virus were the cause of the zombies. They did a good job of cleaning up, though. It only took them a day. Not a big surprise, I suppose. The government has been dealing with these kinds of incidents ever since Raccoon City. I guess that's why the BSA is never invited to the party. They got their own bouncers. I just hope they give us a call when things get to be too much for them to handle on their own. Claire was involved, but I got in touch with her and she seemed to be okay. Had me worried. Is this the one where it was Revelations 2? Or is this the one... I'm interested on the airport, sorry. What is this one? Oh, it was in a game or thing I never actually did. Resident Evil Degeneration. Interesting. Well, we're not here for that, so let's get rid of this. And Javo. The Javo. The C-virus will turn human hosts into creatures called Javo. Javo? These creatures will lose all self-control, but they fail to exhibit any noticeable drop in mental functions. This would explain reports of Javo skillfully handling firearms and communicating with other Javo in their country's native tongue. Javo would tend to follow the final orders they were given before being infected with the C-virus, and they will do this with no thought for their own safety or well-being. The virus creates an intense febrile state in the host, and the more the host is damaged, the hotter it becomes. The hotter the zombie becomes. Many Javo have been seen to succumb to their wounds, burning to death in bright, hot flames that engulf their bodies. Right. That being said, what would normally be a mortal wound is quickly healed through the effects of the virus. More about this and other characteristics can be seen in this journal entry written by a member of the BSAA. Our mission in Eastern Europe is finally over. It's time to go home. We were up against these things called Javo, an entirely new type of viral mutation. They were agile, smart, and their wounds heal automatically. I would hate to see any of these guys get loose on the general public. And then they were. And then we have mutations. Ooh, that's a big one! After the C-virus turns an infected human into a Javo, sorry for mispronouncing some of these words, the host will continue to mutate, and the mutation usually occurring in a specific section of its body. When a host's body is damaged, the regenerative properties of the C-virus will attempt to repair the damage. The repair is replace the normal human tissue with the insect-like appendages. In some cases, the repairs take on an utilitarian purpose, replacing arms with scythe or shield-like appendages. Other reports say that some Javo sprouted wings and gained the ability to fly. They sure did. Or, you know, the worst one, where they become a spider, part spider. Certain mutations like the aforementioned wings have been observed on numerous occasions. The exact number of types of mutations that actually exist is unknown at this time. The name Javo was given by BSAA Europe's Department of Research and Development. Piers, thank you for the sample of the new mutation. We've already started poking at it to see what makes it tick. It's got all of us here pretty excited, actually. We're calling those infected with the C-virus Javo, which is a Siberian word for demon. We're also using words from the Siberian language to name any mutation variants that come about. Why did they choose that? Why? I mean, it's okay, but like, why did they choose that specifically? For example, Javo with sickle-like arms are called Ruka Sherp. Ruka means arm and Sherp means sickle. Okay. Javo with moth-like wings for legs are called Naga Let, where Naga means leg and Let means flight. Serbian sounds pretty great for these creatures, don't you think? Sure. I mean, I know you guys out there in Phil probably start using codenames that are easy to remember and make more sense, but don't forget, if a reporter ever asks you what was wrong with that claw, they'll say it was the weed whacker. The weed whacker. Oh, and then we get to learn about Piers. Of course he has a long one. Hold on. Alright, Piers Nivens is a 26-year-old BSAA operative working for its North American branch. Chris Redfield is his commanding officer. His hand-eye coordination and concentration skills are without peer, making him the BSAA's top-ranking sniper. He can react quickly to the changing conditions on a battlefield, and as such, he will usually find a way to complete his mission in spite of any adverse conditions. A serious and determined man in battle, he still has time to offer a kind word for his fellow soldiers. It is these qualities that cause the CEO to comment that the future of the BSA rests on the shoulders of men like him. Nivens himself prefers not to think of his team as subordinates, but as members of a big family. He believes that the strength of BSAA hinges on the bonds of all its agents. Oh, Piers is such a good guy! He holds Captain Redfield in the highest respect, and Captain Redfield trusts him implicitly. Piers took over the team after Chris went missing. Below is a note from a high-ranking BSA officer detailing Piers' situation during this time. It's been about a month since Piers took over command of the Alpha team, and he's doing an excellent job. He's not as strong as a leader as Chris was, but he's definitely got up to standards. I wouldn't mind making him Alpha team's permanent captain, but I think he would rather see Chris return for the job. He really looks up to him, probably feels like the BSAA isn't the same without him. Let's hope our ancients in the Eastern Europe find something on him. And then they did! A grow man. A grow man. The Agro man is a type of bow used by the insurgents during the Civil War of Edonia. Agro man is derived from the Siberian for giant body. As the name would suggest, this creature is one of the largest stable bows known to exist. Its strength is incalculable and is violent and destructive. These bows lack intelligence and will just act on the orders they were given without thought or hesitation. It can be easily brought down if enough firepower is concentrated on the life support system attached to its back. The urgency of the situation at the time left the Edonian Liberation Army no choice but to allow this easily exploited vulnerability go unremedied. This fact can be confirmed in a note written by a commanding officer of that army. The BSAA has invaded our territory all the way to our city hall. If they take control of that, we've no hope for retaliation. Our only option now is to send in that huge beast that Asian woman called Ogoro Man. She warned us not to use it in battle until the weak point on its back was resolved, but it should still be able to squash a few members of the BSA before they take it down. Oh yeah. That woman, do they mean Carla? The C virus will turn human hosts into creatures called Java. The virus mutates the host in horrific ways, and it is the latest bioorganic weapon to threaten the safety of the world. One of its first known uses was as a health-preserving drug given to a mercenary soldier in one of the Eastern Europe's many intestine conflicts. Following its use in Europe, many Java-like creatures begin to turn up around the world. The C stands for chrysalide, as the virus will encase a human host in a cocoon-like shell before its final mutation. The BSAA researchers' first tests revealed little, and time will need to be taken in order to fully understand the new virus. Below is a note written by one of those researchers. The C virus is a RNA virus that corrodes the blood cells of the infected and causes strange insect-like mutations. The T. Veronica virus of the Rockford Island outbreak in 1998 may have been used as a base, considering the similarity between the appearance of the mutations. Ooh! At this stage, we believe that the G virus could have been somehow combined with the T. Veronica to create the C virus. That makes sense. Who could have been twisted enough to make something like this? Carla. Simmons? Carla. Napad. The Napad is a creature that results from a high-level mutation brought on by exposure to the C virus. Napad is derived from the word for salt. This creature has a hard, protective epidermis, as well as a dense, tough musculature. The creature attacks by swinging its powerful arms recklessly. When it becomes excited, it has been observed to thump on its chest much like a gorilla. I remember these. They have a weakness on their back. The Napad's standard body temperature is much higher than Giavo's. It's so high, in fact, that its body constantly gives off steam in order to maintain a non-life-threatening temperature. How Napad manages to get off steam without dehydrating itself is unknown. Any damage to the creature, whether by gunshot or blunt force trauma, will chip away at its shell-like exterior, revealing its softer muscle tissue underneath. The nerve center under the shell on its back is very sensitive. Damage to this area will kill the creature instantly. Yep. Below is a transcript of a communication sent from a member of BSA to headquarters. We got a big one. Shit, this thing is strong. Don't get near it. Stay back and just keep firing. What? It's covered by some kind of shell armor. Use your shotgun to break it. We aren't getting anywhere like this. And you won't until you break it. Oh, we're gonna learn about Finn. Oh, that's sad. Finn. Oh, here's a long one. Finn Macaulay is a 22-year-old BSAA operative working for its North American branch. The first real action he sees is in Edonia's civil war. Chris Redfield is his commanding officer. He is honest and sincere, if somewhat timid. As an explosive expert, he is tasked with destroying barricades and anti-aircraft gun turrets. Unfortunately, he falls victim to Ada's machinations, succumbing to an infection that turns him into one of the few very battles he was tasked with fighting. It's so sad. After losing his humanity during the transformation to a mindless creature, he is killed by BSAA support troops dispatched to Edonia to dispose of the bowels. Finn sent a letter to his mother the day before he was sent to Edonia. Dear Mom, I hope you've been doing alright. Tomorrow I ship out to Edonia as a member of the BSAA North America's Alpha team. Since I'm still just a rookie, it's an honor for me to be able to join this team. I just hope I don't slow down any of the others. The name of our team captain is Chris Redfield. He's pretty much a legend due to his track record for fighting against bioterrorism. I had the chance to talk to him once, but he looked so scary that I couldn't get anything out. But I'll probably have another chance once we get to Edonia, so I'll try not to be so timid the next time. I need to listen to you more and just be more outgoing. Well, I better get going. It'll be a while before I can write you again, so don't get worried about me. I wish I could get you something from Edonia, but you know how busy it can be on the battlefield. Oh, Finn. Finn. Chris is amnesia. Chris Redfield suffered post-traumatic amnesia after he and his team were caught in a trap sprung by Ada Wong in the Republic of Edonia. Most of his team died, and an unconscious Chris was brought to a local hospital. Upon waking up, Chris had no recollection of who he was or what had occurred, but his mind was racked by an overwhelming and inexplicable guilt. Chris determined to run away, and he left the hospital before anyone could check in on him. Wow. Did Claire be like, damn, where's Chris again? Once again. Upon waking up, until Piers Nivens and the BSAA found him, Chris lived as a moody and violent drunk, hoping that he could numb himself to the pain of what happened that fateful day. Below is a statement made by a female bartender working at the bar Chris visited regularly during his drunken stupor in Eastern Europe. She was questioned by the BSAA. He started coming around here about 5 months ago. We asked who he was, but he said he didn't even remember, so he just started calling him the stray dog. More like a bear than a dog, though. Oh my god. From the looks of him, he's always real depressed looking, rude, never good at paying for all the booze he drinks. Pretty much the worst customer we got here. Oh, and I heard that he makes his money by doing some kind of bodyguard work, which doesn't surprise me. He uses that money to drink and pay for his hotels. So what? Is he some kind of in some kind of trouble or something? I knew someone would be after him eventually. He's actually a hero. Bossawan? Oh god, how do you say that? Bossawan is a shantytown district located in the Chinese city of Wayip, built around the remains of a ruined fortress. Chris Redfield and Alpha Team chase a battle with a highly developed camouflage ability to this area. The snake that got killed the rest of his team. In the early 20th century, the area was a base of operation for British colonialism. The Emperor of China was able to rally the surrounding peoples to extirpate the British from their land. Good on them! Good on them for being able to push them back. Following the British abandonment, the areas of Bossawan lapsed into a lawless zone. With no one in control, people started building dwellings haphazardly until they piled up into the current labyrinth mess the district is today. Okay. After the terrorist attack, half of the residents in the area were able to evacuate. Wow, really? But the whereabouts of the rest are unknown. However, a memo was found giving hints as to what they may have happened to them. It was supposedly written several days before the attack. A beautiful woman named Wong showed up recently. She said she was looking for a young, healthy man, so I approached her with interest. It seems that she had been asking around for people like myself who would be interested in participating in testing new medications. The amount of money she was offering is enough to live simply off of for a year. I don't know what kind of medicine they're testing, but that you can't beat that price. The same old story. Testing new medicine sounds a little scary, but I can't help but think about the money. I think I'll take Wong up on her offer. This kind of happened in Revelations 2 with the island, people who lived on the island. I think they were Russian. And then also Resident Evil 5. Same concept, same tactic. Oh god, how do you say this name? I'm gonna butcher this name so bad. The Illusia? Shija is a creature that results from a high-level mutation brought on by the exposure of the C virus. It is derived from a word phantom. The creature closely resembles a monstrously large snake, one that can camouflage its body to blend into its surroundings. When the creature spots its prey, it starts to behave erratically. When it is in a weakened state, its ability to camouflage itself is greatly reduced. To compensate for the loss of this defensive mechanism, part of its skin will become extremely hard, making it difficult to harm with conventional weapons. Below is a memo left behind by a researcher involved with it for Neo Umbrella. We call this mutation this. It is very surprising fine. It is a very surprising find. Its camouflage ability is so effective that it becomes practically invisible. This, of course, gives it a very good advantage over its prey. The scales not only hide the snake-like creature, but they are also extremely hard to make for good armor. While the inside of the creature is just like any other animal. Its only vulnerability spot is its mouth, which becomes visible once open for attack, but the victim would only have a moment to exploit it before they were eaten alive. Yeah? Chris's whole team, and then Chris that one time I died from it. Oh my god, what is this? Chris's file? Oh. Pretty long. Chris Redfield began his military career as a pilot in the United States Air Force. He was a pilot. His unwillingness to compromise brought him into direct conflict with superiors. Unable to settle those differences, Chris retired from the Air Force. He was then scouted by Raccoon City's Special Forces STARS because of his superior fighting skills and pilot qualifications. After what became known as the Mansion Incident on the outskirts of Raccoon City, Chris set off on his own to stop Umbrella and make the world aware of the threat of bioweapons. Following Umbrella's dissolution in 2003, Chris decided to join the BSAA and continue the fight. This brought him to Africa in 2009 and into direct conflict with his former boss, Albert Wesker. Chris killed Albert during the operation. He was finally able to put to rest all the ghosts of Umbrella in Raccoon City. In 2012, during Operation Edonia, all his BSAA soldiers except for Piers Nivens were turned into bows. Chris suffered from head trauma that led to amnesia, and it wasn't until 6 months later that Piers was able to find him again. Chris was a large part of the BSAA, and it was a big shock to the organization when he was reported missing from the hospital. The search for him was led by Piers, and all the branches of the BSAA helped in any way they could. Below is an email sent from the West African branch to Piers during this time. I was very sad to hear of Chris's recent disappearance. He was such a large part of the BSAA, and he was a very important person to me as well. Please, oh, it's from Sheva! Please let me know if there's anything I can do to help. The BSAA West African branch is always here for your support. But not Claire. Apparently Claire did not care that Chris was missing. That's cool. We get like a little thing about Sheva. I hope she's doing good. Chris and Leon. Alright, Chris Redfield and Leon Kinney work for two different organizations and have no reason to interact with each other. But they do share one connection, Chris's sister Claire. Following the Mansion incident in 1998, Chris set out for Europe on his own, determined to bring down Umbrella. Before he left, he neglected to inform Claire as to where his whereabouts, so she came to Raccoon City to find him. There she met Leon, and together they fought their way out of the horrors of Raccoon City. Claire was then reunited with Chris on Rockfort Island in Code Veronica, right? She loves and respects her brother, and she considers Leon a trusted friend. With Claire as a mutual contact, it would be only a matter of time before the two met. Although the interactions between their respective organizations are highly restricted, when they finally met, both were able to understand each other's deep convictions, particularly those related to the eradication of bioorganic weapons. Do we ever get to see them interact besides in 6 before? Or is it just saying, oh, this is how they interacted, not in a game or a book or a manga or whatever? Let's see. Where was I leaving? The conversation that followed between the two is confidential. However, Hunnigan wrote down the details of their meeting into a report she sent to Adam Binford. Below is an excerpt from that report. Terra Save member Claire Redfield introduced the two, and they shook hands firmly, smiling. It looked almost like they were two friends who hadn't seen each other in 10 years. They didn't say much, and it was a short conversation, but I believe they came to understanding of each other's hardships in their battle against bioterrorism. I believe this meeting was an important step in breaking down the barrier between the U.S. government and the BSAA. That's cool. It's like putting your two OCs together to see what will happen. Neo Umbrella. Neo Umbrella. Oh, goodness. Okay, in Edonia, Chris and his BSAA team fell into a trap set by Ada Wong. She used the C virus to turn his team into Baos. As the leader of Neo Umbrella, Ada brought the C virus that had been developed in China to the civil war in Edonia, where she secretly gave it to the insurgents to administer to its mercenary fighters. The mercenaries then mutated into creatures known as Jiavo, and she gathered data on their transformations. Chris has spent most of his life fighting the pharmaceutical company Umbrella, almost losing it on numerous occasions. It's not hard to imagine what he thought when he first heard the name Neo Umbrella. Why Ada named her organization such is a question only she can answer. Alpha Team... Answer now, it's a Codex. Alpha Team was almost completely annihilated after coming into contact with Neo Umbrella and Ada. However, there was still no actual proof of Neo Umbrella's existence at the time. The woman who called herself Ada could have been lying as far as the BSAA knew, so they were careful not to jump to any conclusions. Ultimately, Neo Umbrella officially made its voice heard when the new virus hit China, and Ada Wong was confirmed as its leader. Below is a note written by Marco Rosa of BSAA North America before being sent off to China to counter the new organization and its attack. Marco. Poor Marco. He was the last one that died on the team to Ada. He became Bugs. Gonna be sent out to China today since they got hit with some new virus. I'll be leading Bravo Team. Heard that Alpha Team found Chris, so I guess he'll be leading them. Will be good to see him. Can't believe those assholes behind the attacks are calling themselves Neo Umbrella. I guess they really think they're hot shit for using that name. Can't wait to get a hold of Ada and make her beg forgiveness in front of the whole world. Whoa! From the files of Neo Umbrella. We're almost done with Chris's campaign. Codex. To all Neo Umbrella staff, at 23:29 today, our leader Ada Wong's vital signs ceased. At the same time, Plan D was shown to be activated. All personnel in our Far East facilities are urged to head to one of the predetermined safety zones. This emergency notice is for all human staff and not for Jiavo test subjects. An emergency cable will be sent to the underwater facility once Plan D is fully in motion. Plan D: infect all of Lanshiang by firing missile into Tachi. During the confusion, awaken Hyos in the underwater facility and send it ashore. Hyos. With this, the whole world will taste the panic that was Raccoon City. Chaos will be the new order. Let us make our leader, Miss Wong, proud. So they set it off anyway when she died. Oh, last chapter. Last 4 codex for Chris's campaign. Pierce's file. All the men in Pierce and Vince's family have been in the military, going all the way back to his great-grandfather for as long as he could remember. Pierce wanted to follow in his father's footsteps. He graduated at the top of his class from the elite military academy, where he was highly recognized for his skills as a sniper. Following graduation, he joined the Army Special Forces. Not long after joining the Special Forces, he became disillusioned. While he continued to participate in his drills without a hitch, he yearned for some greater calling. A reason for all this training. In 2010, he found that calling when Chris Redfield, impressed with Pierce's sniper skills, asked him to join the BSAA. Pierce was impressed with the way Chris ran Alpha Team. He treated them like a family and not like expendable soldiers. Chris, for this part, knew he couldn't be a field agent forever, which is why he recruited Pierce. Chris believes the future of the BSA lies with talented individuals like Piers, and Piers, for his part, now has a cause worth fighting for. And yet, he's dead, so it doesn't matter. Piers spoke to some of those under him regarding Chris about a year ago. Below is a memo written by one of them who seemed to take great interest in what Piers had to say. Piers talked the other day about Chris Redfield, what the man went up against when he was my age. I gotta say, it's pretty crazy. When Chris was 25, he was involved in the famous mansion incident. He went up against the Bows before they were even called Bows and lived. Just that alone is awesome enough, but then 3 months after, he goes on a solo mission to search for his sister at Rockfort Island, which was run by Umbrella. He ran into monsters made from a new virus and even went up against Albert Wesker. I don't think I could even handle doing all that. I don't think I could ever handle all that he did at this point in my life. He is one hell of a guy, a legend even. I'd want to be just like him, I just don't know if I really got what it takes. He also didn't have a choice on the mansion incident. That was just like being thrusted into it. Chris and Albert. Chris and Albert. They have a long history. Chris Redfield and Albert Wesker, Jake Muller's father, have a history that goes back to when the two were on the same STARS team and encountered the world's first known Bows during the mansion incident in 1998. It turned out later this accident was engineered by Albert, who was working for Umbrella. As a result, Chris lost many good friends and colleagues. Chris set out to stop Umbrella and prevent the spread of Bows, which led him into conflict with Albert on numerous occasions. In 2009, Chris found himself in Africa as he attempted to stop Albert from murdering a majority of the planet's population. During the battle, Albert mutated himself into a Bow, but he was killed thanks to Chris and his partner Sheva Alomar. Thankfully, Albert's plans of global genocide were never realized. Chris speaks of his feelings through this time below. Oh, he actually spoke about it. Taking care of Wesker was definitely a big turning point. I realized what I had been fighting for, but then again, at the same time, defeating a monster like him really made me feel like I had accomplished all I had set out to do. Yeah, what do you do when the big baddie's destroyed? There's still cleanup to do, though. I have no intention of giving up the fight, but I can't do it alone. There may come a time when someone like Wesker comes around again, and a younger generation will need to carry the torch. He's right. So I'm going to go back to working in a team and teach the younger generation what they need to know. The BSA will need them. I like that. I like that. But then he lost Piers anyway and his whole team, so... Neo Umbrella's deep-sea research facility was built so the group could have a secret location to create Bows. Teams of scientists extracted magma from below the ocean floor to find bacteria and microbes that could thrive in such extreme conditions, and then added their traits to the sea virus to give life to a powerful Bows. When Neo Umbrella found the financial backing to construct such an August facility remains unknown. Okay. Below is a memo written by a researcher from the deep sea facility. It's been a week since my orders brought me here. Who would have thought a structure like this could exist this far underwater? And the only reason they built it was for creating an and containing House. Just one big, expensive incubator. I hope it was worth it. Well, we killed House, hopefully. And then House. We get to know about House. House is a gigantic Bow and the ultimate weapon created by Neo Umbrella at its underwater facility. The creature has translucent skin, making humanoid bone structures and internal organs visible to the naked eye. In addition, there are also gas-producing organs that secrete a gas that turns humans into zombies. This gas is thousands of times more concentrated than lepidoptera. I'm butchering it, but you know. And its potential infection radius is just as exponentially wide. Should it ever reach the surface, it would follow its program and connect to divide and multiply. In only a few days, these house creatures would contaminate the entire planet. In the event of Neo Umbrella leader Ada Wong's death, the house creature would still be released. However, depending on when that occurs, there is a possibility that the creature could be released at an incomplete stage of its development. And as it so happened, Ada indeed died before the creature could reach its full form, and it was awakened and released according to the programming in the system. Below is a record of this event. Ada Wong's death confirmed, executing Plan D, initializing house awakening procedures. Progress of metamorphosis 70.3%. Lower body still incomplete. Plan will not be affected. Yo, it was a baby. It wasn't completely made. Interesting. Whew. We have 2 more campaigns to read through. But I'm going to take another small break before we continue, so give me a few moments. Alright, let's continue on with Jake Muller. Codex, we're in the Jake and Sherry campaign now. Got 2 more campaigns to read through. Jake Muller is a 20-year-old professional mercenary under the employ of the rebel forces in Edonia. 20 years old? Really? Despite his youth, his combat experience is quite high, and his survival skills are quite formidable. His cynicism creates an approachable aura, and even his fellow mercenaries consider him to be moody and distant. The only thing he trusts in this world is cold, hard cash, and he has no time for the concerns of others. He is the consummate mercenary, selling his services to the highest bidder without any concern for the ideologies of the group that employs him. While Sherry was investigating Jake, she talked with some mercenaries who remembered him. Here's what one of them had to say. Jake Muller? Yeah, I remember him. We were together a lot back in Edonia. Not a very nice guy, but not exactly bad. But he's like me. Money is everything. Being nice doesn't make you money. We're killers without consciences, and that means we just do our job without thinking about if it's nice or not. Jake especially seemed to have that tendency, but that's pretty much all we have to do with each other. Why, is he your boyfriend or something? What the fuck? You're a pretty brave little girl coming to a place like this to chase a guy like that. He's not your boyfriend? Then what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be at school? Sorry, you just look really young. Here, you look like you've been through a lot. Why don't you come over to my place and rest up? Come on, I'm not gonna hurt you. Hey, wait, come back. What's the problem? Shit. As Sherry had no time to deal with them. Soldiers of fortune. Jake Muller spent most of his teenage years as a mercenary, fighting on the front lines of countless conflicts the world over. The first group of mercenaries he joined taught him everything he needed to know about armed and unarmed combat. His trainer was strict and demanding, but treated him almost like a son, and Jake found himself able to feel a sense of attachment to him, something he had only previously felt for his mother. Unfortunately, that mercenary was actually a double agent who sold out the whole unit. What the fuck? After being betrayed by his father figure. Damn, his backstory. Jake put his faith in the only person who had never let him down, himself. Any compassion in his heart was lost, and he drifted from war to war as a soldier of fortune. Jake was 17 at the time. He and only one other person on the team survived the incident. Below is a testimony made by that other survivor. Yeah, I remember it. About 3 years ago, we were in South America, and our so-called captain was in bed with the enemy. We were surrounded before we knew it. We tried to fight, but there was just too many of them, so we started dropping like flies, one by one, until it was just me and Jake. Or Jake and me. They put away their guns trying to save ammo, I guess, and came at Jake with knives. He was out of bullets, but he still stood his ground. Hell of a thing to see. I couldn't believe how strong and intense he was, but reinforcements came eventually and saved us at the last minute. I think I remember talking about this to Sherry. The kid put up a good fight, but he was a mess because of the whole thing. He didn't trust no one since. I guess he really thought highly of that traitor. He did. That's messed up. Bioorganic weapons. BOWs. We get to learn about BOWs. Bioorganic weapon. An organic life form that has been turned into a weapon, usually by the means of viral infection. The virus is designed not to kill the host outright, but to transform it into a creature that is suited for combat situations. The creatures that ran amok during the leak of the T-virus in Raccoon City in 1998 are typical of such BOWs. One of the most effective BOWs produced by the T-virus was the Tyrant, which gave many Raccoon City survivors a run for their money. Its high intelligence and strength made it a focus for researchers. Records of this are kept even with the BSAA below is one of the records. The T in the T-virus stands for Tyrant, the ultimate human-based BOW. Not only is the Tyrant incredibly strong, but it is also intelligent and capable of following orders. No other mutation may ever be capable of surpassing it. Ustanok. Ustanok is a powerful creature dispatched by Neo Umbrella to capture Jake Muller. Oh, is that the butcher? Ustanok. Okay. Ustanok is derived from the Siberian word for revolution. I'm glad I can say Ustanok. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. This creature is nigh indestructible and unstoppable powerhouse that is sent after Jake Muller and Sherry Birkham. The creature has a metallic structure on its right arm for restraining targets. Once a target has been apprehended, the creature can use one of the syringes on its arm to take tissue samples from the target. Below is a record written by Neo Umbrella researcher at the time of the Ustanok's release. Ustanok will be used to apprehend Jake Muller. It will only listen to our leader, but once the order is given, it will follow its order to the death. It should be perfect for the job. She's giving the orders to it now, but she's so kind to it, almost like a mother to a child. Looks like it's ready. This will be a sight to see. Carla with Ustanok? Interesting. Sherry Birkin! Sherry baby! Sherry Birkin is a 26-year-old. Oh, they're 6 years apart and she's older? That's nice. It's refreshing to see the girl be older in a shippy situation, at least from my point of view. I ship them. The game ships them. The writers ship them. They wrote them like that. Okay. 26-year-old U.S. agent working under the direct command of the U.S. presidential aide. She's one of only a handful of people to survive the Raccoon City incident in 1998. During the incident, Sherry was infected by the G virus. While she survived exposure to the virus itself, the U.S. government took her into custody to monitor how the virus would affect her psychology. Thus began her time as a human guinea pig, poked and prodded by curious scientists and government officials. In 2009, she was inexplicably offered a position as a special agent in the employ of the United States. She quickly assented in order to escape her life of forced imprisonment, even though in practice she was still under the watchful eye of the government. She lacks the experience of more seasoned agents, but she can still hold her own against Jake Muller, and she's capable of providing the emotional support he has lacked for most of his life. Stop, they're so cute. In spite of the tragedy she has witnessed, she still believes implicitly in the good of people. Her relationship with Leon and Claire since they saved her in Raccoon City has never changed. Dear Claire, I've recently been ordered to go on a mission overseas, but I'm not allowed to say where or what it's about. I know you already told me I know you've always told me to stay away from these kind of stuff, and I know you were just worried about me, but it's the only choice I had. It makes me happy to know that I might be able to prevent others from ending up like I did. Even this mission I'm about to go on will make a difference. You've always been so kind, but you don't have to worry. I won't do anything stupid. You saved my life, so I plan on keeping it for a long, long time. Oh, yours truly, Sherry. I love their little relationship. I love Sherry's relationship with Leon and Claire. Whoa, what? The G virus. William Birkin, father of Sherry Birkin, is responsible for the discovery and the research of the G virus, a virus with incredible regenerative and reproductive abilities. The G virus causes the host to lose rational thought, turning into a violent creature that seeks to replicate the virus as an embryo in a person with blood ties to the original host. Right. That's why, yeah. Chasing little Sherry. During the Raccoon City incident, an armed group sought to steal the G virus and killed William Birkin in the process. Before his death, however, Birkin injected himself with the virus, thus consummating his life's work. Revived by the virus, Birkin sought out the nearest blood relative, his daughter, Sherry, and injected her with an embryo. Ugh. That sounds nasty. For the G virus, Claire Redfield created an antidote to stop the embryo from mutating Sherry's body, but even after the explosion of the embryo, trace amounts of the G virus remained in her body. The result of the government's test on her is that she has incredible regenerative abilities, including immunity to most viruses. Her youthful appearance is thought to be due to the G virus as well. Man, the virus really do be giving people youthfulness, don't they? And I say that about Jill as well. Below is a note written by a researcher who was involved in the study of the Sherry's unique condition. Sherry Birkin was the light from the darkness that engulfed Raccoon City. She is a miracle. The small amount of G virus that remained in her body is still active, but produces no harmful effects. Only its regenerative properties have been activated, making her almost immortal in a way. This also is what makes her look so young, since it has halted her aging processes. Plus, she now has a strong resistance to all other viruses. Unfortunately, I don't think this comes as a blessing to Sherry. She will always be different from everyone else, which will probably cause her some pain. But I think she will pull through. She's strong, kind, and has such a positive outlook on life no matter what the situation. I wish you nothing but happiness, Sherry. Aww. Poor Sherry. I wonder if she'll outlive people. Messets. Messet is a creature that results from high-level mutation brought on by the exposure of the C virus. It's the word for moonlight. Messet resembles a human-sized crow and has the ability to fly and chase after prey. It prefers the flesh of cavadars to living organisms. I remember in the blizzard we had to fight some of these. so it rarely eats its prey after capturing it. Instead, it will release its prey from high in the air in order to kill it. Messets will then roost over the corpse and peck away at its flesh. It is one of the few high-level mutations that can use tools. It has been known to drop steel drums and other objects from the sky when hunting its prey. Oh my god. Below is a memo written by the Neo Umbrella researcher who produced the Messet. The Messet's intelligence is higher than most mutation, and it's very close in appearance and behavior to the common crow. Similar to how some crows are known to drop nuts into a freeway so they can be broken open by passing cars. The Messet will drop its victim from high altitudes in order to kill them. It is a wonderful mutation. Oh, the similarities. For an experiment tomorrow, I think we will let a man out to wander on the mountain and send the Messets out to hunt. Oh my god. That's awful. Oko. Okos are creatures that are released from an organ on Ustanok's back. Insect-like in appearance, their erratic flight patterns are more indicative of bats. Oka is derived from the word for eye. Whew. As their namesake implies, they act as the eyes for the invisual impaired Ustanok. Right. But I ironically rely on ultrasonic waves to track their prey. Their sense organs are shared with Ustanok, and when a target is found, they emit a flash and flap their wings at a level only Ustanok can detect. The mechanism behind this shared sensory perception is unknown. Their ultrasonic waves cannot pass through walls and other barriers. The Okos serve no function in combat, and their fragile bodies are quite easy to destroy. It's a memo written by a member. There's a high probability that Jake Muller is in a cave at Site D24. We will have Ustanok wait here, but have Oko released and positioned at multiple sites in order to increase chances of apprehension. We've equipped Ustanok with new weapons, so hopefully he will be able to at least bring back a piece of Jake. All we need is some fresh blood. But it'd be great to have that woman he's with brought back alive. Oh, she looks good enough to eat. I bet she'd make a great sound under the knife. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. I can't wait to slide my scalpel across her creamy snow white skin, cut it open, and take a long look inside. That's disgusting. So fucking weird. Alright, Jake's childhood. Jake Muller was born into a home without a father, and from an early age he had to support his chronically ill mother. No! No. She could have made a full recovery, the family could have afforded it, but Jake and Mrs. Muller had barely enough money to cover their daily needs. She tried her best to provide for the family and did all she could to protect Jake. He loved his mother but couldn't understand why she was still enamored with his father, Albert Wesker, the man who had abandoned them. To say Jake didn't think highly of his father would be an understatement. When Jake got older, he decided he would become a mercenary, selling his service to the insurgents fighting the government. He had no love for politics, he just wanted to afford better medical care for his mother. Unfortunately, Mrs. Muller passed away not long after he became a soldier of fortune. Jake felt like he was alone in this world, and his heart was now hardened. His only concern was for money, even though he no longer had a passing need for it. His mother left a note for him next to her bed before she died. I love you, Jake. I'm so sorry to have to leave you like this. Please forgive me, and please don't hate your father. I'm sure he loves you and is thinking about you. No, he would never. And I know you two will find each other someday. Stay strong. And they didn't. They found Chris, who I guess is the next closest thing. Why did she think that? How did Albert Wesker seduce someone? How? Detention center. Neo Umbrella agents abducted Jake Muller and Sherry Birkin from Edonia and imprisoned them in their research facility in China. The facility itself is surrounded by a luxurious estate that masks the sinister activities that take place within its walls. The estate is protected by heavily armed Javo and armored vehicles ready to fend off any attack at a moment's notice. Below is a journey entry written by a guard whose job was to watch over Jake. It's been 4 months since I started this job. Jake has been cooperative with the experiments, and the guy watching Sherry says she hasn't been causing any trouble either. They've probably given up hope. But only 2 more months until the powered-up C-virus is finished, and then we won't need them anymore. I wonder what we'll do with them. Can't wait until this is over. I'm tired of staring at a half-naked man all day, every day. I wish I could trade with the guy watching Sherry. Disgusting! Disgusting. Come on. Load in. What is this? Lab report, June 20th, 2011. Finally, 2011? At least At last, I've been chosen. The report came back that my body type is highly compatible with the C virus. No longer will I have this trial, or this frail, crude body. I will be reborn as a powerful weapon. There's chance I will no longer retain my humanity, but as a partly sacrifice in light of the wonderful gains. This is what I've dreamed about all my life. I will be reborn. June 27, 2011. She gave me the virus herself. What an honor. I am happy. Her touch made me cry with happiness. Can't stop shaking. Her fingers, her touch, her smile, only for me. Her soothing voice, her good smell. She is beautiful, my goddess. I am hers. I will do anything for her. Anything, anything. I feel so good. I feel so good. What? What the hell was this for? I guess the one that turned when Carla transformed them? Had to have been. Interesting. Strelets. Strelets is a creature that resulted from a high-level mutation. It's derived from the word archer. This creature's primary function is to frighten off invaders either by expelling a gas or dagger-like pieces of its own body. When an enemy gets close... Oh, I remember the little lizard things that have funny footsteps. When an enemy gets in close range to this creature, they tend to turn tail and run away. Like many lizard species, they can climb up walls and crawl on ceilings. Below's a note written by a BSA member. We ran into that lizard thing the other day. Finn was right. It's a fast son of a bitch. It runs all around, shooting fucking spikes from its body. It got one of our guys in the leg with it. With one. He'll live, though. We were able to kill it, but I sure don't want to see one of those anytime soon. They're not that bad. Those were actually pretty easy to kill. Sherry in the Raccoon City incident. In 1998, William Birkin, father of Sherry Birkin, decided to keep the results of the G-Virus research for himself. His superiors at Umbrella had grown tired of his attitude and sent a commando unit to retrieve the virus for them. The unit's mission coincided with the T-Virus leak that had contaminated Raccoon City. The confluence of the two events contributed greatly to the city's destruction. Sherry Birkin was also caught up in these events, but thanks to the heroic efforts of Leon Kennedy and Claire Redfield, she was able to survive the incident. Sherry considered Claire to be her new mother after losing both her parents. Oh! It was Claire's love and devotion that had the greatest impact on Sherry's development, and Claire's nurturing and compassionate ways had manifested themselves in Sherry's own personality. Sherry and Claire both led very busy lives, but Sherry still made an effort to try and meet what their schedules allowed it. That's adorable. Hey Claire, I was able to get some days off at the end of the next month when you said you'd be in America. I have so much I want to talk to you about. Can't wait to see you. I'll send Ronnie a message too. I bet he'll be excited to hear you're coming back. Ronnie? Who's Ronnie? Life without freedom. Following the Raccoon City incident, the U.S. government decided to take Sherry Birkin into custody and keep her under observation because of the trace amounts of G-Virus that remained in her blood. Claire Redfield stayed by Sherry's side during the time she had to suffer through daily tests and experiments. While it was Claire who provided emotional support, it was Derek Simmons who became her legal guardian. Interesting. Claire visited Sherry as often as she could, trying to help Sherry overcome all the trauma she had endured. Why didn't Claire become her legal guardian? Because she's like government? I don't know. Claire visited Sherry as often as she could, trying to help Sherry overcome all the trauma she had endured. Sherry idolized Claire and was determined to be just like her, a strong, capable woman. Derek was not without compassion for the orphan girl, and he allowed Claire, a civilian, to visit and comfort Sherry, even though the girl's existence was a closely guarded state secret. So Claire's still considered a civilian? Okay. In total, Sherry spent 11 years in the hands of the government. It wasn't until 2009 that she was given any freedom. Damn. Below's the letter that Claire tried to send to Sherry during this time. The letter was intercepted but never shown to Simmons. The person who found it sympathized with Sherry and Claire's situation but couldn't allow it to go to Sherry, so it had to be destroyed in secret. Whoa. Sherry, I don't want to make things any harder for you, but I need you to be careful about Simmons. I know he's been supportive and lets me see you, but something's not right with him. I don't have any proof, but I know what people look like when they're hiding something. And I get the feeling every time I look into his eyes. You are so trusting of people and it worries me. Please just be careful for my sake. I'll be busy, so I won't be able to come see you for a little while. Keep being your cheerful self. 2011. Is that when she got kidnapped? Claire got kidnapped and taken to that island? So Claire knew something was up with Simmons. Interesting. And someone intercepted it? Okay, but didn't show Simmons. Whoa, experiment log in 2011. 5 days have passed since the test subject was administered the C virus. All vital signs are stable. This is not the ideal candidate for such a test, but considering how the previous 322 subjects all died within 24 hours, I say this is substantial progress. He was chosen well. The only setback is that the subject lost his right arm during a lab accident, and the C virus has shown an inability to regenerate it. Still, the subject shows potential in other areas we had not anticipated, and will make for a powerful bioweapon. That's good considering how pleased he was to be selected for this experiment. Who is this? Who are they talking about? Oh, whoever it was codenamed Ustanok, and in terms of raw strength and intelligence, it far outstrips any Javo to date. So this dude was Ustanok, whoever he was before. It shows an uncanny ability in creating and choosing the appropriate weapons for apprehending its target. Word has come down from the top that special weapons are being created for Ustanok, ones that will help it compensate for the loss of its right arm. Weapons, December 10th, 2011. Weapons for Ustanok are in development. We currently have a Volcon, shotgun, and a drill for close quarters combat. We thought this would be enough, but she told us to create an arm for it that would be suited to capturing someone. Okay. I don't want to question her orders, but I wonder if who she would want to capture. Creating the arm has been very difficult. We have to do it right, or it'll end up like a claw in an arcade crane game. After all, the target won't just be sitting still for it like a toy in a glass box. True. We would not be. Oh god, how do you say this? Ubisto? Is Ubisto? Not gonna repeat that. It's a creature that results from the C virus. Its name means murder. It's a humanoid form, but its spinal column, ribcage, and heart are all located in its right hand. What? What? Which itself resembles a monstrous organic chainsaw. Oh. Gotcha. This thing. The heart in its hand not only powers the chainsaw, but also keeps it alive. Destroy the heart and it will die immediately. Its fragile appearance belies the fact that it is quite strong and very difficult to hurt. It is not easy to distract once it has decided on a target. Yeah, it fucking chased Sherry. I'm assuming Sherry. I guess it decided on Sherry the whole time. Fucking crazy. However, since it does not distinguish friend from foe once it is locked on a target, it can be a difficult weapon to control. Below is a note written by Neo Umbrella researcher. It is powerful and has strong ability to survive, and its chainsaw can cut through any adversary. It is only flaws that it will go on a killing spree, taking down all in its path, including our own men. So there are risks to be considered. We may only be able to use it for special situations. And sure you did. Sure you fucking did. When there was already chaos afoot. Jake Muller's infamous father. Whoa, Albert Wesker. Father Jake Muller had a very rare psychology. His body was highly resistant to viral infection, and he was even able to manipulate the virus he had injected into himself so he would only reap their benefits and none of their deleterious effects. Deleterious? I don't know how to say that. The self-experimentation gave him abilities that can only be described as superhuman. I remember him going through this process. I thought for sure, yeah, he injected himself with a virus, but I thought he was just infected. But he's not. As Albert's son, Jake enjoys the same immunity to viral infections. When Jake injects himself with a solution containing the C virus, it has no visible effect on him. Albert Wesker planned what would have been the deadliest terrorist attack in human history, and he would have succeeded had Chris Redfield and the BSA not killed him in time. If it wasn't for these meddling kids and their hunk of a man. Jake had never met his father and knows nothing about the atrocities he committed. He is also unaware of the genetic legacy he is heir to. While Jake has been imprisoned in China, he wrote down his thoughts on a whim, including some thoughts on his father. Oh, he wrote down stuff. It's been about 2 months since being caught. I think I started to pick up enough Chinese to know what some of these Neo Umbrella guys are saying. Really? They keep talking about my dad. I even heard the lady who gives out the nutritional supplements talk about him. I guess Albert Wesker really is my dad, and he really did try to kill everyone on the planet. Fuck. I bet Sherry knows, and that's why she needs me. Why wouldn't she tell me? Jesus Christ, my head hurts just thinking about it. She does know. A deal with the United States. The reason the United States government took Suri Burke into custody is twofold. One, they had hoped to study the G virus that remained in her blood, and two, they sought to protect her from Albert Wesker, who wanted to possess a sample of the G virus. In 2009, the organization Albert had worked for fell apart after he was eliminated by the BSAA on a mission in Africa. Sherry was thus freed from the threat posed by Albert and his organization. The government offered her a chance to leave this protective care if she agreed to come work for them. Oh, so it did correspond with another event. Okay. Sherry learned how bioweapons had caused the deaths of countless people around the world, and she couldn't bear to think of others enduring what she had experienced as a child. She readily agreed to work as a special agent under the direct supervision of Derek C. Simmons. Agent Birkin's latest assignment is to find Jake Muller, the only known living individual with C-virus antibodies, and escort him back to the United States. Below is a note written by Simmons during the time Sherry became an agent for him. Sherry had agreed to become an agent under my supervision and a little more freedom. I bet she thought that this was her big chance to help others in need. Her overly kind and ultimately naive, charitable nature makes me sick. But she could be of some use. Wow, he's an asshole. He didn't even care for Sherry. If he cared for her a little bit, maybe I would have felt bad, but he didn't even give a shit. He didn't care. Ustanok was created by to be the ultimate Baal, originally a human who had freely injected himself with the C virus. His final grotesque form was the result of Neo Umbrella's scientists. Even though he is a manufactured Baal, all his mental faculties as a human remain intact, giving him the capacity for cognate thought. So he thinking behind those little eyes. This makes Ustanok the perfect candidate for carrying out missions on his own. A side effect of the mutation is that it may even have increased his intelligence, as he is able to use complex machinery and equipment soon after picking it up. Below is a memo written by Neo Umbrella researchers just after Sherry and Jake were once more captured and taken to the undersea facility. Oh. Our leader has died. Now there is no one Ustanok will listen to, but he doesn't know and probably wouldn't understand if we told him. He would just keep following the last order she gave him. We made a new weapon for him and also gave him a hook shot like the one our leader used. Then we sent him after Jake and Sherry. There's something different about him, though. He seems quiet, like he's filled with intense sadness and anger. Maybe he knows. I guarantee he does know. C-virus vaccine. Whoa, it's long. Anti-C is the tentative name given by the U.S. government to the vaccine of the C-virus created from the blood work of Jake Muller. When this vaccine is administered to a person not yet infected by the C-virus, the person will be given immunity to the virus. The vaccine, however, only shows a slow success rate in helping people who have already been infected, and only if those people have not displayed any characteristic unique to the Giavo. Usually administration at this stage is fatal. Damn. So we couldn't have saved Piers. He was fucked up. I was like, surely. But no, I guess we couldn't have saved Piers, even if he came back. When the person already displays Giavo characteristic or has entered a cocoon or mutation stage, administration of the vaccines are always fatal. The NTC is not a guarantee against infection by the C virus, but its mere existence helps provides a measure of security to the world's population. However, even the creation of the anti-C, the C virus is still a very large threat. Below is a part of the report written by a U.S. government researcher detailing this threat. The development of the anti-C has given us a way to temporarily counter the threat of the C virus. Our main priority should be to distribute and vaccinate as many people as we can in order to lessen the outbreak from future bioterrorist attacks, at least for the C virus. However, the C virus has produced mutations unlike any virus before. It is only a matter of time before the virus itself evolves, and anti-C will be useless against it. Jake Muller's blood may again become necessary to create a new vaccine. The BSAA is currently tracking him down. Ooh. We must keep a close watch on the virus and be ready when the time comes. So they're keeping an eye on Jake. And that's all of the Jake campaign codex. We'll be moving on to Ada, but I'm going to take another small break because my throat's kind of hurting. But it'll only be a few minutes for you guys. Alright, let's finish up our reading in the Ada Wong campaign list. With Ada Wong as the first codex. Not much is known about the international spy Ada Wong, including her age or whom she works for. Even her true name as well as her aims remain a mystery. What is known that no matter how difficult her mission may be, she has the brains and the physical ability to pull them off without a hitch. While there's a stoicism to her in her demeanor, it is her poise and oh god, this word, sang-froid that she is known for. She appears to be working towards a specific goal, and once she accomplishes it, she is the type that would have two qualms. Why am I having difficulty reading? She is the type that would have no qualms about her betraying her handlers. In 1998, she went to Raccoon City with the intent on secreting out a sample of the G virus. It was there that she met Leon Kennedy, a rookie cop at the time. Following the events of Raccoon City, she has been known to offer aid to Leon on his missions, but mostly as a ploy to enlist his help. Currently, Ada has snuck aboard a submarine after being contacted by Derek Simmons, a man she hasn't heard from since the Raccoon City incident. Was Simmons in the incident? I don't remember. While on the submarine, she discovers a mission that was never fielded to her and a terrible secret that will spur her to act. What form those actions will take is anybody's guess. She had no memory of the mission assigned to her, but it was executed nonetheless. Below is a report detailing the outcome of that mission sent to Derek Simmons. I couldn't get Jake and that girl that was with him. Sherry Birkin went missing. They might have been caught in the explosion and blown to bits. Damn. Report on Jake Muller. Whoa, Mr. Simmons, the mission to find the son of Albert Wesker has been completed. I have confirmed that Jake Muller is the biologic son of Wesker. Jake Muller, age 20, Republic of Edonia. Caucasian? Blue eyes. Did Wesker have blue eyes before he got mutated? Has been in the employ of the Edonian mercenaries for 5 years, has trained or fought in all parts of Europe, the Middle East, and South America. A DNA sample from Mueller proved his relation to Wesker. Wesker's alleged immunity to viral infection has manifested itself in Mueller. Unfortunately, the DNA sample I obtained would not be enough to assist with C-virus research. A bodily fluid, blood, saliva, or bone marrow sample would be required. It is my recommendation that you dispatch your top agent to secure a tissue sample from Mueller. Update. I have confirmed that Jake Mueller's mother has died of an illness. Details on her are scarce, but we learned that she was born in Edonia and immigrated to America in her early 20s. When she became pregnant with Albert Wesker's child, she then returned to Edonia with Jake without telling Wesker of his birth. Why? Strange. Submarine. Ada Wong sneaks into a submarine in order to find out what Derek Simmons is planning. When she gets there, she finds that the security system responds to her fingerprints and voice, and there is information on her that no one should have. Throughout the submarine, Derek's hand can be seen in it all. From the room decor to the layout itself, it is a mystery as to who built this submarine for what purpose. However, a letter was found that shed some light on the mystery. Ada, the family's armies grow stronger every day, and I found myself overwhelmed with it. This is why I'm giving you full control over our East Asian soldiers and the submarine as a present. Use them as you wish. I hope that they will serve you well. All I ask is thanks to your continued loyal service to me. And yet that didn't work out, did it? Nesdo? I thought it was a woman standing there at first, but then I got closer and saw that it was a huge swarm of bugs in the shape of a woman. The gnats. I freaked out and tried to run, but they came after me. There wasn't anything I could do against them. They nibbled at me until I was covered in blood. I was lucky to survive. Record of a naso attack victim. The naso is a creature that results from high mutation, and it's word for hive. These small creatures have the appearance of hornets, and they can form a swarm that mirrors the size and shape of a human being. Just as ants and bees, the naso behave with a hive mindset, but each individual creature has its own role to play. Where the naso discerns that their queen does not continue to propagate the species, but serves only as a commander, giving out orders like a general to an army. The sensory perceptions are shared between the queen and the individual naso. If the queen is lost, the swarm will dissolve as long as she lives. However, the swarm will remain intact and follow her commands. The queen is hard to spot among the swarm as it attempts to conceal and protect her. An attack on the swarm will momentarily scatter the naso, revealing the queen and exposing her to danger. She's pretty big to be hiding in that small swarm. Ada and Derek. Yes, please tell me the tea on them. Derek Simmons believes in a world stability, and he, along with the family, believe in preserving that stability, even if they have to act illegally to do so. When Derek first met Ada Wong, it caused a ripple in his normally logical and unperturbed personality. Ada's skills as a spy were unparalleled, and the mission she carried out for him was instrumental in his goals. A fracture in their work relationship was formed when Ada learned that Derek was behind the operation to raise Raccoon City. Realizing it was dangerous to keep company with Derek, Ada left his employee, never looking back. Okay, so they didn't have like an intimate relationship. It was just employer. From that point on, Derek had been maniacal in his plans to get back Ada. Whether it was because he felt an emotional attachment to her, because he thought she was the only woman whose intelligence could match his own, is unknown. But his monomania with Ada led him to put a sinister plan into action. Because he cloned her in some form, somehow. Below is a note Simmons wrote after he lost Ada. How could she leave me? We were the perfect partners. She was beautiful, intelligent, the only one I would allow at my side. She should have known that. Ada, why? Now I have to create a replacement. So weird. So weird. Scorched Earth. Whoa. Operation Basilisk Terminate was the name of the missile strike ordered by the U.S. government to halt the spread of the virus in Raccoon City in 1998. The decision to raise the city of 100,000, killing infected and survivors alike, came from Derek C. Simmons, a high-ranking government official. Raccoon City was a case study for his future plans, as he believed the world would stop using traditional weapons and switch over to bioweapons. The data provided by Raccoon City allowed him to assess the efficacy of such weapons, but he made certain that the truth of Umbrella's involvement in their bioweapons program would never be known. Eager to resolve the issue as quickly as possible, he urged the more hawkish members of the president's administration to eradicate Raccoon City for the sake of the country. Wow, he was just doing it for himself. The attack on Tall Oaks was devised by Simmons to show the world and dubious officials in government the threat bioweapons pose in the hands of terrorists, as well as to prevent President Benford from revealing the truth behind Raccoon City. Everything went just as Simmons planned. After Operation Basilisk Terminite was carried out in Tall Oaks, he sent a message to the family while flying to China in his private jet. Leon recovered the message and submitted it to the FOS after he returned from China. Operation Basilisk Terminite has been executed just as planned, but this time it won't be covered up like it was for Raccoon City. Everyone will know that the president was killed by the bioterrorism, and the government had no choice but to clean it up. The whole world will know the threat posed by bioterrorist organizations, and shall be on all of the country that stood up to protect its people and fight the threat. America. Now we've shown them who the real global power is. This is how things should be and how balance will be achieved in the world. The family at the helm. Wow. How corrupt and fucked up do you have to be to kill people just to stay in control? Note found in a laboratory. Oh, to my dear sister Helena, I'm sorry I was never the good sister I should have been, even though you loved me unconditionally. I'm sorry for everything. They injected me with something. It's making me forget things, who I am, who you are even. I don't want that. Please know that I've always loved you too. I don't want to leave you hope and you find someone you... I don't want to leave you and hope you find someone you love to love you, don't want, forget, love you. Below's report written by a member of the family found in the same research facility that Deborah's memo was found. We've been ordered to dispose of Deborah now that the plan has succeeded, but some of us wanted to see what the C virus would do to her healthy body, so we injected her? She was just going to be killed and thrown away anyway, so we didn't see any problems with it. Some were excited and had high hopes for her mutation, but there was no visible effects even an hour after injection. Unfortunately, we need to hurry and evacuate Tall Oaks. In just a few hours, it's going to be a giant ball of fire. We're going to leave Deborah in the lower levels, though it's too bad that we won't be able to see how she turns out. They're fucked up. They were going to kill her anyway. They could have just killed her. All that pain and suffering for what? For what? Can we also have men be normal about women in games like this? Please? The Shrieker is a type of zombie that can summon other zombies by emitting a large sound that stimulates their aural faculties. Excuse me. In addition, zombies' nervous systems react to the sound, and this reaction causes them to behave more violently. If something were to interfere with the sound the Shrieker is emitting, it will change to a high-frequency sound that will overload the aural receptors in the zombie's brains and destroy that part of it. Below is a scribbled memo found in the wreckage of Tall Oaks. That thing is screaming again. I think my eardrum's gonna explode. God, it's loud, and every time he screams, many more zombies start showing up. What is going on? It's been hanging around outside my house screaming and calling more zombies. I think it's after me. I don't want to die. Damn. That sucks. 2 Ada Wongs. There are reports of 2 Ada Wongs involved in the current crisis. One is the famed spy that comes to the aid of Leon Kennedy from time to time. The other Ada Wong is leader of Neo Umbrella, and the one responsible for introducing Yavio to the Edonia 6 months prior. The former is the true Ada Wong, and the later is a copy created by Derek Simmons utilizing the C virus. The fake Ada contacts the real Ada, telling her about the impending biohazard about to be unleashed in China. The real Ada decides to go to China and find out what this imposter's intentions are. A video taken of the birth of the Neo Umbrella, Ada Wong, was found underneath tall oaks. Below is part of a note written by Simmons during the time of her birth. I finally created the perfect replacement for Ada. I'll have to make sure she is like the original in every way. Not just in looks, but in intelligence and habits as well. This will require some training. I'll have to teach her never to betray me. My very own Ada, so exciting. Now where should I start? So weird. Ada in Raccoon City. In 1998, Albert Wesker, Jake Muller's father, sent Ada Wong on a mission in Raccoon City to retrieve a sample of the G virus William Birkin was hoarding for himself. So she was working for Wesker even back then, okay. When William's wife Annette interfered with that mission, Ada used Leon Kennedy to have him unwittingly aid her. Ada then made her way to Albert with a sample of the virus in hand. In 2004, Albert ordered Ada to Europe to obtain a sample of the Las Plagas parasite. There she encountered Leon again and ended up stealing the parasite sample he had procured. She did not, however, hand the sample over to Albert. She kept it for herself and went off the grid. She had her own intentions to keeping the virus. She was not going to allow herself to be a pawn in Albert's plan for global domination. Ada eventually learned of Wesker's death in Africa. Below is a memo written by her during this time. I just got word that the BSAA took down Wesker. I can't say that I'm saddened by this, but he was a large part of my plans while we were partners. I felt almost a slight emptiness inside. He had a very large impact on many and held the reins on bioterrorism. I'm interested to see how this changes things, but for now I need to keep my eye on Simmons and his organization, the family. No matter what happens, I will never lose sight of my ultimate goal. What's her ultimate goal? What's her ultimate goal? Okay, the family. Oh no, this is not a note. Wow. This is like an actual codex. Oh, wait, this says something about Resident Evil 7. Oh no, should I read this? Should I read this? I don't think so. We're skipping this one. It's not leading me to an actual codex. It's leading me to the wiki Bloodshot. We're skipping that. It has Resident Evil 7 in it. I guess I'll find out. I guess the family will come back. Spoiler alert, the family's coming back. The family's going to be important. During the biohazard incident, an extremely rare type of zombie was discovered, that had the most of its head destroyed. The creature was given the misnomer of Bloodshot because all of its muscle tissue was exposed. Unlike normal zombies, this creature is incredibly agile, and the speed with which it will attack and devour flesh is incomparable. These differences are thought to be a mutation brought on by the C virus. Below is a report given by the FOS by Leon, who had a run-in with the rare mutation. I've been seeing various mutations caused by the C virus. One new variation named Bloodshot reminded me of a lot of the lickers I encountered in Raccoon City. They both look like they've got their insides on their outsides. The special mutation seems to stem from the damage taken by the infected body. I wish I could see what this looks like. Alright. Moving on. Carla. Oh, that's her last name. Radames? I wish we could actually know how to say that. Alright, she has a long one. Carla was responsible for the discovery of the C virus and a close confidant of Derek C. Simmons. A prodigy in her youth, Carla completed a doctorate course in genetics when she was only 15, after which she was recruited by Derek to work for him manufacturing viruses and bowels. Derek praised her for her intelligence and successful research, and his praise increased her devotion to him. One way she tried to earn his praise was by developing the C virus. As it turned out, she was nothing more than a tool to him to accomplish his goals. Surprise, surprise! A man is manipulating a woman. This has been written before in the Resident Evil series. The person Carla ceased to exist when she was used against her will in Derek's experiment to recreate Ada Wong. Carla began to work on the C virus in 2001. Below is a note written by Carla found in the Quad Tower detailing the origin of the C virus. I was able to get a hold of the now harmless T. Veronica virus, and I've decided to use it as a base for my research into new viral weaponry. First, I succeeded in extracting only that which causes sudden DNA mutations, a characteristic that has become stronger ever since the original progenitor virus. Combining this with the T. Veronica, I've eliminated any chance of brain cell damage, was a major flaw of the virus. I call this combination TO2. Before, if the T. veronica virus was injected into a subject, the subject had to undergo a long sleep at ultra-low temperatures in order to slowly adapt to the virus and avoid brain damage due to sudden mutation. However, the TO2, this is no longer necessary. Now, if I can just combine it with the sample of the G virus taken from Sherry Birkin's body, I'll have the perfect virus. I don't know how many years it will take, but I'll do all I can to make Simmons proud. See, they're just putting all the viruses together. Literally. Derek and Carla. Whoa! Derek Simmons used the countless test subjects in his efforts to clone Ada Wong. The main impediment to those efforts was finding subjects with compatible genetic structure. Bro, he forced her to do this? Using the extensive resources of the family, Derek learned that one of his own researchers, Carla, would be a suitable candidate. Derek tricked Carla into taking part in the experiment because she believed Derek valued her and her work too much to risk her. She was wrong, and Derek succeeded in creating the clone of Ada he had desired. Wow. When Carla looked and behaved similar to Ada, there was still a piece of her that remained Carla. Derek's relationship with Ada had only been professional, so he couldn't see that this clone was not the real Ada. Whether through misguided affections or a desire to revenge himself on Ada, he ignored any nagging doubt and began to train and treat Carla as if she were the real Ada Wong. Carla, having lost most of her personality due to the experiment, behaved as Derek wanted, but in the depths of her soul there was still a spark of Carla's original self, and once it came to the surface, she vowed to destroy Derek, the man who had ruined her life. Below is a note written by Carla just after she was transformed into Ada Wong. I am Simmons' loyal servant, Ada Wong. I'll do anything he asks, and in return he does whatever I ask. We are the perfect match and no one can come between us. But recently I can't help but feel some horrible emotion deep down every time I look into his eyes. I don't understand how I could feel this way when we were meant to be together. Some voice is screaming, kill him, destroy his dreams, don't let him get away with this. And it gets louder every day, but why? What's wrong with me? He loves me so much and I love him back. There's no reason for me to feel any of this. I can't imagine a world without him. I've given everything to him. I would never want to destroy his dreams ever. And yet, this is what started all of this. She did. She did want to destroy his dreams. From Carla's papers. It won't be long before everything he ever feared will come true. My special pet resting beneath the sea will be ready soon. All my little cocoons will also hatch shortly. My greatest creation will be the very undoing of everything he has worked for. It would be a shame, though, if he wasn't ready to live in a world of nightmares. I'll make his body a living reflection of the horrors I've unleashed. The world would be so far removed from the stability he craves, it will be complete chaos, and that chaos will destroy his body. Yeah, you know, fair enough. Unlimited transformations. Carla thinks she can attack China and unleash chaos upon the world, but Derek Simmons had a plan for stopping her, and she is gravely injured. If I'm going to die, then I'll make sure the world he loves dies with me. With her last ounce of energy, she injects herself in an extremely potent strand of the C virus. It's the same strand one of her subordinates injected into Derek. In her infected state, she merges her body with that of an aircraft carrier, transforming herself into something decidedly not human. Yeah, it was nasty in there. She can also create human-sized doppelgangers of herself, Carla's spores. These avatars of Carla's insanity still resemble Ada Wong, proving that Derek's experiment damaged her psyche more than even she had realized. Yeah, that fight was something else. Complete mutations. After a human is injected with the C virus and turns into a Jiavo, the virus will continue to mutate the host until its entire body is covered by a tough cocoon-like structure. Inside this chrysalid, the virus will dissolve into the host body's composition and reform it, thus giving birth to a completely different creature from the Jiavo. These creatures are referred to as complete mutations. Derek C. Simmons sought to harness this mutation process when he tried to recreate Ada Wong, but ended with a number of failed mutations instead. Oh, the Lepicita and the Nasdo, which is the gas thing, and then the gnats, the bugs, are two examples of these failures. Derek preserved the female aspect, but little else. Derek's researchers soon learned that by mixing the C virus with the DNA of living specimens, they could create complete mutations that preserve the strong features of reptilian and mammalian species. Being able to determine the final outcome for the complete mutation was a key component of creating reliable bioorganic weapons. The research was instrumental in stabilizing the C virus and creating something that would birth multiple bioweapons. Yep. Alright, we're almost done. Can you tell I'm tired? I do want to see it through, though. The enhanced C virus was created by strengthening the C virus with Jake Muller's blood. The enhanced virus was engineered by Carla by taking the elements of Jake's blood that was resistant to viral infection and using them to re-engineer the C virus into a more potent virus. So her, Carla, Derek, and then Piers injected themselves with that potent virus. Because there's only 3 samples. When a host is infected by the normal C virus, the host will eventually become encased in a cocoon before emerging as a new creature. With the enhanced version, not only does it strengthen the host, but it removes, the need for a chrysalis stage. This host can continue to mutate indefinitely into new forms without compromising its cellular integrity. The enhanced C virus is incredibly difficult to manufacture, and only Carla has the know-how to do it successfully. As such, only a limited amount of the enhanced C virus is known to exist, and now it's dead with her. It died with her, hopefully. Who knows? Piers might still be alive. Who the fuck knows? He could have turned into a whale for all we know. When Derek C. Simmons was betrayed by Ada Wong following the Raccoon City incident, it was the first time he ever felt emotional stress. He felt that if he could not have the real Ada Wong serving him faithfully, then he would create one to do so. Fucking weirdo. He decided he would use the C virus, a virus that with unlimited potential to change the human body on its creator. Carla, in order to recreate his beloved Ada. No one knows how many lives Derek sacrificed in order to realize that goal. When he succeeded with Carla, he was overcome with joy, but Carla had not completely lost herself in the process, and she hated Derek for what he did to her. Eventually, she would see to it that he was injected with a potent strain of the C virus, one that would cause his body to mutate painfully into hideous creatures without end. In the end, he was killed by Ada Wong. Was he? Oh, yeah, I guess he was. But then he mutated again into like a fly, and Helena and Leon had to deal with it. Carla's revenge. Carla was reborn as Ada Wong because of the experiment Derek Simmons forced her into and the subsequent training she received following her transformation. Unknown to Derek, Carla retained some remnants of herself in the deepest recesses of her psyche, and this part of her was determined to undo everything Derek had done. Carla secretly founded the Neo Umbrella organization so she could perfect the C virus, something that would be instrumental to her plans to destabilize the planet, an idea that was what is that word? I'm gonna look that up. I actually don't know what that means. Hold. This is really some nice music. In the game, each Codex area for your chapters look like a jukebox, so it's pretty cool. And Thema. Someone who dislikes? A curse? Excommunicating a person or denouncing a doctrine. Okay. To Derek, her plan was to launch missiles loaded with the gas that would turn people into zombies and to unleash the ultimate bow on the unsuspecting world, Hyos. Her plan to wreak havoc in China would have gone off without any problems, but for one incomprehensible act, she contacted the real Ada Wong and involved her in the situation. Whether she did this in some vain attempt to destroy the original Ada and leave only herself, or to have Ada save her, no one can say. And that's that. That's all the, let me switch back to the game. That's all of the Codex. It took 2 hours. I'm not going to condense it down. Probably cut out some parts where I was taking water breaks or something. But yeah, we've read all the Codex, and I'm pretty proud of us. We did learn quite a bit. I'd learned some backstory on Helena and Jake, and even Carla, even Derek as well. Derek Simmons. I know he might have been involved in Raccoon City maybe in some of the Codex they mentioned Simmons or something, but I don't remember him being ever mentioned. But this is nice. I really enjoyed it, but we're officially done with Resident Evil 6. And my voice, I need to rest it. I've been talking for like 2 hours. Just me talking for 2 hours straight. But I really enjoyed learning about Jake's backstory because he's one of my favorites. And Sherry, learning more about what happened to her after the Resident Evil 2 incident, the Raccoon City incident. They literally kept her hostage, but for her own good as well, because Albert Wesker was still out and about. I guess it was just easy to keep her locked up. But then they helped to release her, but not fully. I wonder what's going to happen with her. Who is she working under now if it's not going to be Simmons anymore? And the family, that one codex I skipped, because it wasn't a codex. It went straight to a wiki page. And it mentioned Resident Evil 7. I'm really interested to know about this family. The real people that run the city, or the country, huh? That's what Ada said. Well, this has been an exciting journey with Resident Evil 6. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!